This week on Speaking of Coasters, Goliath's groundbreaking lift hill goes from looking like this to looking like this. Also, I take you guys through a speech I'm doing in speech class entitled Breaking Ground for a Giant, a look at the 2013 Goliath groundbreaking ceremony. This is Speaking of Coasters. Let's get started. Hello. Welcome to Speaking of Coasters, the show that takes everything going on in the coaster industry over the past 2 weeks and combines them all into one big video. I'm your host, Nick Koss. I'm your host, Nick Koss. And this week is going to be kind of a laid-back week. This is all Goliath. So let's get into this. On February 22nd, 2014, actually February... On February 21st, 2014, Six Flags Great America announced the final renderings for Goliath. Probably the biggest change we saw was in the lift hill. And now it's a all steel structure on the lift hill only. The rest is all wood. And the new structure is going to hold up the inverted zero-G stall as well. And this was, from my understanding, planned ever since they announced the ride to come to Six Flags Great America in 2014. It's just they put together a quick one for announcements, a quick few renderings and stuff until they were ready to release the full renderings. They also announced they also showed to the public who aren't enthusiasts what the station will look like and the entrance portal, which is really basically a sign you go under, but whatever, still Goliath themed. And it really allows for this ride to live up to its potential. This new type of addition to it, or this modification, is really gonna boost up the time that it takes to construct the ride or take time down. So it's gonna pretty much all the wood, in my personal opinion, they wouldn't be done by Memorial Day weekend if it was all wood structure. The steel structure seems to be the best way they could go, and I'm glad they're doing this. Okay, now for the main part of today's episode. So, at Oak Creek High School, where I attend, every sophomore has to take 1 semester of English 2, and then we have to take 1 semester of speech. Speech is what you expect. You do speeches and stuff. So far, we've done a brown bag speech, which is all about us, and then a partner speech where we introducing someone else in the class. Now we're on our experience speech, and you could choose anything, and I chose something that I really liked and I thought was a really great experience, and that was the Goliath groundbreaking ceremony. So I'm the last one to go. I didn't go yet as of May 4th, March 4th, 2014. Probably end up going on March 5th or maybe March 6th. Figure it out. I'll wear my Goliath sweatshirt to school tomorrow, so I can be themed for it or whatever. I'm OCD about that. I don't know. So I want you guys to be the first people who hear it. So let's get into it. We all have that one event, or even events, that we never forget. Something like a graduation, a grand opening of a venue, a wedding, a funeral, or even just an ordinary day. I, for one, have been to one event that only about 100 people can say they have. The Goliath groundbreaking ceremony at Six Flags Great America. It all started on Monday, August 26, 2013. I'm waiting for my trumpet sectional to start because it's marching season, and I'm browsing through the Six Flags Great America World forums, since there's been a lot of hype about new for 2014, teasers that have been posted on the park's YouTube channel, and there's a lot of rumors thinking it may be. Closest rumor is a new 3 world record breaking wooden roller coaster. So there's a post on the New for 2014 thread, and it's redirecting me to a Twitter post where you can RSVP on a Google document for a groundbreaking event they were holding that Thursday. Automatically, being the coaster enthusiast I am, I became really interested in this, and I read through the RSVP page, but I realized my parents had to work. So my next resource is my grandpa. My grandpa's a great coaster enthusiast as well, and I just called him right on the spot. He was interested, and we were eventually able to go, and I RSVP'd. A few days go by leading up to August 29th, the day of the announcement. The day before, Six Flags announced that they would be announcing the rides at 4 a.m. Central Time. So, of course, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I visit the Six Flags website. The announcement video went up by Jim Reed Anderson, who's the CEO of Six Flags Corporation. Every year he does a webcast, or ever since 2012, he's done a webcast stating the new rides for this upcoming season. And I see Six Flags Great America, Goliath. I'm ecstatic. I eventually show my parents once they wake up, and of course, they don't know much about coasters, so they have very little enthusiasm about it. And my grandpa ends up arriving at 8 o'clock a.m. to pick me up for the groundbreaking, and he's very excited for this. We end up leaving for the park at about 8:15, and we have a quick breakfast on the way. It was about a 35-minute drive, and we arrived in the employee parking lot because that was the place we were assigned to meet. We got an email the night before telling us information we needed to know. So when we get there, my grandpa parks the car and we unload the video gear. I had a tripod and I had a video camera. We walk up to a check-in area, which is basically like where employees check in during the day. We were greeted by many coaster enthusiasts, and we would end up receiving a piece of paper or a flyer that contained ride specifications and elements. Basically, something that, like what you see right up here right now. So following that, we're directed over to the construction site. When I realized that I forgot my quick release plate. Can't really use a tripod without those, so I said, oh well, let's go handheld. We eventually arrive at the site, and I walk around to capture some B-roll. Up until 10 a.m. when the ceremony starts, and I'm standing right in front, and I'm able to get some of the best audio and video I could, despite me having a standard definition camera at the time. So Hank Salemi, who's the park president, explains specifications about the ride as were on the sheet, and a balloon is then hoisted 165 feet in the air to show off the height of the lift hill, so they could put it in perspective for us. It's now 11:15 and my grandpa and I are... Oh, shit. Sorry. I'm sorry. I need to bleep that out. Probably won't. Eventually, ground is broke by Hank Salemi, who's the park president, Gary Pullman, the director of maintenance and construction, Dylan, who was an intern in promotion and was David in the teaser campaigns, as well as the world's most famous rabbit, Bugs Bunny. Following that, a Q&A session was in progress, and it was just general questions like, how long is the ride, what's the length of the ride, like time-wise, and like feet-wise. And then it's eventually wrapped up, and everyone is open for interviews once the ceremony is over. So, of course, being the enthusiast I am, I eventually go up to Hank Salemi, and he's the first one I want to interview. But while I'm waiting, I end up getting in a conversation with Katie Enrique, who's the PR manager over at Six Flags. And she confirms, since Six Flags America announced that they would be getting a Wild Mouse coaster named Raging Cajun, she confirms that Raging Cajun from Six Flags Great America will be moving over to Six Flags America and operating under the same name. I eventually get interviews with Hank, Gary from the Breaking Ground, and then John Kraniak, who is the director of marketing, as well as the public relations team, which consists of Katie, as I said earlier, PR specialist Brandon Bruce, and then 2 other workers, or Dylan from the teasers, and then another worker named Tess, and never caught her last name. I can't really tell her. Once that's wrapped up, I ended up taking some pictures of the construction site using my iPhone 5. Yeah. And it's about 11:15 and my grandpa and I are amongst the last to leave. We get in the car, exit the employee parking lot, lunch. We then go for lunch on the way home at the McDonald's, which is on Grand Avenue in Gurney. And what's interesting is all amusement park theme, like all the wallpaper, everything. And you're able to get a great view of the park from the parking lot of McDonald's. We eventually arrive home at roughly 12:30. My grandpa ended up leaving, and I would then load the video footage from the event onto my computer. To edit the whole entire thing took about an hour and a half, but I only had iMovie at the time, so it wasn't really good. I have Final Cut Pro now, and I upload those straight to YouTube. The ceremony nowadays is now my most watched video I've ever made on YouTube, and the interviews are also among the most viewed on my channel. When all said and done, this event is without a doubt the most interesting theme park event I have ever been to. While everyone has that one event they'll never forget, well, let's just say this was no ordinary day for me. This speech is supposed to be under 3 minutes and about 3 minutes 30 seconds. I obviously have to practice now, but I just wanted to get this out there. I hopefully will be able to practice a lot in study hall tomorrow. I'll see if I can go into a band practice room, sneak in there and practice my speech in between, practicing my solos for solo ensemble. I'm doing 4 events, so yeah. It's great being a good trumpet player. This was Speaking of Coasters. I'm Nick Koss. Thank you guys for watching. Have a Six Flags day.